High Strangeness. This is when you hear the stories of people looking up into the clouds and seeing things like the Virgin Mary, or maybe a picture of God. But this story that you're about to hear is so bizarre. Why? Because it came in on our High Strangeness 24-hour hotline. And in this case, they did not see God in the clouds. They saw something else. And what you're about to hear, you may not believe it.
You are about to hear tales of high strangeness. Be careful, you may not believe it.
It's June 22nd, 2020 in Georgia. Valerie, the mother of two adult children, was always known not to be so religious or even a Christian, but she was known to be spiritual. While Valerie's son was at the hospital, she was at home laying in her bed, then suddenly something entered her room standing over her bed. According to Valerie, this was first of many messages. So what you're about to hear didn't come to a surprise to Valerie, but it definitely came to a surprise to me, who was listening to the call.
Okay, and then give me a little background information. When did this happen? And so when did it happen?
It happened, I think it was June 23rd or the 22nd of 2020. His spirit came to me and sat on my bed. I knew he was gone.
So when funerals are over, when the friends and other family members decide to go back to their home, the inner family is left to mourn. And they also have questions about what happened that day of the funeral, such as questions like, did I do a good job? Or did this funeral meet the approval of the person that passed away? This is some of the questions that Valerie's daughter had, who was actually wanting to know, did she do a good job? And surprisingly enough, Valerie, who's very optimistic and spiritual, was like, yeah, you did a good job. But she also gave her instructions to find out for herself. Listen to what happened next.
He knows. He's seen everything. He's pleased with everything. He knows. And she said, well, Akeem, if you know what I did, I want you to know. And if you can hear me, I want you to show me a sign.
While Valerie and her daughter was at the grocery store, and when they went back out to the parking lot, they got their answer.
So when we get to the store, we're just talking. She gets out of the car. She's screaming. I'm like, what is wrong with you, Angel? She said, Mommy, look in the sky. Look in the sky. Look. His face was looking at us in the clouds. Beautiful. Him just looking. And I was like, I knew it. I told you that he was with us. He could hear. I told you.
Now that's high strangeness. Now I had to ask myself the question, Roderick, does this happen a lot? So I looked into a couple of more cases, and here's something that I found. Let's go back to Grand Falls, Canada, August the 1st, 2011. Amateur cameraman Dennis Farmer was in his backyard with his family. He decided to go out and get his camera because there was an unusual cloud formation, and he said, hey, this will make a great video. What he didn't expect was the clouds to give him something worth videoing, as these clouds form something very unusual. So I took it a little further, and I sent this over to some high strangeness specialists to see what they thought about the audio.
Psychologically, emotionally, and physically, they're connecting to their aura still. And those vibrations tend to ignite a lot of visuals. So one of the son's favorite animals was the lion. You know, that was one of the things that he was so attracted to, and just it was a symbolism of him. Stories like this don't get told enough. And in essence, if I was to rate this would definitely be a factor of high strangeness.
So it's time for you to gather your own opinion about what you heard in this video. Whether those clouds that Valerie saw and other people see in the sky was some type of an illusion or a figment of their imagination, I still qualify it as high strangeness. Because I get calls every day on our High Strangeness hotline, and a lot of these calls are so similar, I don't think it's no coincidence. Post your comments in this video, and we're gonna classify this in 3 levels. 1 being high strangeness, 2 being medium strangeness, and 3 being low strangeness. Put it in the comments of what you think about what you just heard. Now, once again, if you experience high strangeness, here's our 800 number. Make sure you call us 24 hours a day, and let's talk about what's happening in your world.
You have just watched High Strangeness. Subscribe, like, and share. Make sure you turn on the alerts so that you don't miss any new High Strangeness videos.